This series of videos is provided to educate you to convert a 3D model into a No Man's Sky usable ship scene, and to implement said ship into the game via the Ships of Moar workflow. If you wish to view the previous part, please click the card appearing on the top right to navigate to the video. In this part, we will cover the conversion process outside of Blender and the final touches of adding the model into a spaceship spawn pool. Although NMSDK can export models with basic material setups, the material files are rudimentary and often will need manual tweaking in XML. In this section, we will explain the basics of material class and flags, explain the concept of flag sets, find a desirable flag set using Flag Finder, and modify and tweak the exported material files. We will be utilizing NMS Modding Station to manage the project and the exported files. If you wish to learn about its functions, please refer to the Modding Basics page on the Step Modification Guide. Create a new project using the Modding Station. Navigate to the project folder, right-click in the File view, and select Open in File Explorer. In the previous part, we have exported the model to the directory of custom models/window/window borderland. We need to preserve this folder structure for the files to function in the game. Copy the custom models folder and paste it in a project folder. Navigate to the folder containing the exported model files within Modding Station. Double-click the .scene.mbin file to decompile it. It will be used in a later procedure. Open the folder located in the same directory and decompile all .material.mbin files inside. We will use fuselage.material.xml as the example. Open the file in your text processor of choice. We will be using Notepad++. There are 3 sections within this file which we need to take note of: the class and shader field, the flags section, and the uniforms section. The class field defines the overall rendering mode it uses. Currently, it is in the opaque class. Some material classes use a different shader file defined in the shader field. The uniforms section contains different material parameters, which we will tweak in a later procedure. The flags section contains a flag set, a set of material flags. They control the final shader properties of the material. It is called a set because customization of these flags is limited to the combinations which already exist in the vanilla material files. It currently contains 4 flags: Flag 01, Diffuse Map; Flag 03, Normal Map; Flag 25, Roughness Mask; and Flag 39, Metallic Mask. This flag set will suffice for the majority of materials. However, since this material contains an emissive map, we will need to utilize emission-related material flags. If you wish to see a full list of material flags available, refer to the Material Files page on the Step Modification Guide. There are 2 emission-related material flags: Flag 34, Glow, and Flag 35, Glow Mask. These 2 flags will need to be included along with the 4 existing ones, as the material makes use of all 5 maps denoted by the flags. In order to find a valid flag set, we will use the Flag Finder 2, available for download in the No Man's Sky modding Discord. You will also need to install Python in order to use the tool. After downloading the Flag Finder Python script, move it to your desired directory, and then open a command prompt or PowerShell window in the same directory. To view its usage and argument options, enter py flagfinder.py-h. We will need to set the vanilla unpack directory before it is functional. Enter py flagfinder.py-s and then the complete path to your unpack folder. Now we can begin to search for a valid flag set. To search for flag set, input py flagfinder.py hyphen lowercase f, followed by the flag numbers we are seeking, which in this case are 1, 3, 25, 39, 34, 35. Finally, add the argument hyphen uppercase A to only display flag sets with all the flags present. Once you press enter, the window should display a list of material files containing all the flags you're searching for. You can search for the flag set which works for your purpose in a command window, or enter py flagfinder.py -o editor to display the results in your default text processor. When looking for the right flag set, realize that you should look for a set with the least amount of flags to avoid any artifacts from extra flags. Many flag sets may contain flags that are unsuitable, such as flag 11, alpha cutout, and flag 53, colorizable, which are incompatible with what we require of this material. However, there are some flags which have little effects on the material, such as flag 27, VB tangent, flag 29, VB color. Feel free to experiment with different flag sets. For this example, there exists a flag set which matches exactly with the combination we are looking for. In models/planets/biomes/weird/shard/shard-mat.material.mbin. Navigate in modding station to that directory within the unpack, decompile the material MBIN, and open the XML. Once opened, copy the class and shader field and the entirety of the flag section from the vanilla file to your exported material file. There may exist extra material parameters under the uniforms section. Compare the two files and copy over any extra sections. In this case, we will copy over the G custom params 01 fag4 section. Repeat this process for all other materials which require more material properties than the use of a diffuse map, roughness map, metallic map, and normal map. In the previous part, we assigned one material map as the mask texture due to NMSDK limitations. We will now overcome that limitation by combining the material maps using an image manipulation program. In this example, we will use Photoshop, but you can also use other programs such as GIMP. We will once again use the fuselage material in this procedure. First, open the base color texture file. We will use this texture as the canvas as it has the same dimensions as the material maps, and it contains the color channels we need to combine them. Now open the emissive, metallic, and roughness textures. Isolate the canvas's red channel, copy the metallic map, and paste it onto the canvas. Isolate the green channel of the canvas and copy over the roughness map. Realize that No Man's Sky uses gloss maps in actuality, which is the inverse of the roughness map. Therefore, invert the roughness map's color. The emissive map usually uses full colors. However, No Man's Sky only uses the alpha channel of the texture for the emissive map. Tweak the map so that it is in grayscale. To transfer the map to the canvas, add a new channel to the canvas, isolate it, and copy over the emissive map. Finally, color the blue channel black, as it will not be used by the material. Resize the texture to your desired dimensions. To export the texture, we will utilize the NVIDIA Texture Tools exporter. It is available as a Photoshop plugin and therefore can be directly exported as a DDS file on Photoshop. However, it is also available as a standalone program. We will demonstrate using the standalone version in this procedure. First, export the combined map into an image format that saves the individual color channels, such as Targa, TGA, or Tag Image, TIFF. After that, drag the exported image into the NVIDIA Texture Tools exporter to open the image. Navigate to the Format field at the top left. Click to open the list of codecs. Mask textures are simple maps and are not required to have the highest fidelity. If your mask texture does not use an emissive map, you are recommended to export it in the BC1 format with no alpha for the smallest file size. If it does, you are recommended to export it in the BC3 format with interpolated alpha. Click the Save As button at the bottom right. Navigate to the Exported Scenes texture folder within your project folder and overwrite the mask texture file. Since we are exporting fuselage mask texture, overwrite fuselage roughness.tts. We will also need to re-export the diffuse and normal map, as the dimensions of the diffuse, masks, and normal textures need to be identical to avoid rendering errors. Resize the diffuse and normal maps to match the mask map. Export the diffuse map in the BC7 codec and the normal map in the BC5 codec. Repeat this for all textures. There are many methods to implement a properly configured ship scene into No Man's Sky. In this series, we will employ the method used for the Ships of Moar mod. In this section, we will revamp the vanilla shuttle scene, generate the descriptor using amums, and test the implementation in-game. Ships of Moar implements its custom ships by replacing the vanilla shuttle. We will begin by copying over the vanilla shuttle scene using the modding station. Navigate to models/common/spacecraft/shuttle in the Unpack Game Files tab using modding station. Double-click shuttle.proc.scene MBIN file to decompile it, and then right-click the decompiled XML file. Select Copy to Project Path. Double-click the shuttle.proc XML file to open it. We will be replacing the proc root starship data block. Delete all data inside the children element. Set the trans y value to 0 and the scale x, scale y, and scale z values to 1. Alternatively, replace the entire contents of the XML with the data block provided to you in the included pastebin link. After that, we need to implement the actual custom ship itself into the file. We have provided you with the data block required to ensure proper function in-game in another pastebin page. Let's go over its contents. On the top level is the main locator node. Its name denotes it as a procedural generation option. Under its children element houses all other components. The first one is the reference node containing the custom ship scene. To learn about the No Man's Sky scene node system and a row of references, please refer to the scene files page on the step modification guide. Under that is the cockpit locator, which contains the entity attachment that defines the type of ship your custom ship belongs to, and its first-person cockpit. We have put in multiple entity options for you to choose from. Simply uncomment one line and then comment the rest. You're recommended to use these vanilla cockpit entities, as any custom cockpit entities can impact multiplayer connections. The next few nodes are used for stability and in-game maintenance purposes. We will keep them unedited. At the bottom is the inventory locator, which has the entity attachment that defines the type of inventory it uses. All Ships of Moar ships uses the exotic medium inventory, but you are free to look for another ship inventory entity if you wish. Let's tweak the data block for our custom ship. At the top level, rename the locator with an underscore prefix. Realize that the underscore prefix denotes the entire node as a procedural generation option. We will name this node underscore borderland underscore. Next, we will change the file path in the reference node to that of our custom ship scene. Navigate to the custom ship folder using modding station and open the scene XML file. Near the top of the custom ship scene file is the geometry attachment. Copy its value and paste it into the reference node file path. Delete the word geometry and in its place type scene. After that, choose your cockpit entity. For this example, we will choose the cockpit A of the fighters. Copy the entire Datablock to the Shuttle prog scene under the prog root starship Locator. To add another ship into it, simply repeat this process. After it is complete, navigate back to the project folder containing the Shuttle prog scene in modding station and compile the XML by right-clicking on the file and selecting Recompile. In addition to the scene file, its descriptor file is also required for the procedural generation to function. Thankfully, Ships of Moar provides a Lua script for AMUMs to generate this file with minimum tweaking. It is available to download from the Ships of Moar Nexus Mods page under the Miscellaneous Files category. Open Ships of Moar Collections.lua, which is the Ships of Moar Custom Collections Lua script. Modify the ship's collection parameter so that it only uses the test collection. After that, navigate to the ship's data block. Copy and paste any entry. Name the entry by changing the value on the far left. We will name this one Borderland. Next, change the value of the name parameter to the name of the top-level locator we have just entered in the previous procedure. In this case, it is _borderland_. Change the value of the scene graph parameter to the file path in the reference node. Scroll up in the Lua file to the Collections List data block. Under the Test List, input the entry name of your custom ship. In this case, we will input Borderland. Finally, move the Lua script to the mod script folder in your AMUMS install and run build mod to generate the pack. The generated pack can be run alongside the custom ships file you have created, or it can be copied to your project folder with the file sitting alongside the Shuttle prog scene file. In either case, we can now pack the custom ship file by right-clicking in Modding Station while in your Project tab, selecting Pack Mod, and deciding on your pack file's name. Don't forget to copy over the pack file after it is done by once again right-clicking the pack file and selecting Copy to Mods folder. After installing the packs you have generated, it is finally time to test your ship. Simply start up No Man's Sky. You're recommended to use Ships of Moar's Give Me Shuttles or Give Me Death module to only allow shuttles to spawn. In-game, check if your ship looks satisfactory and fix any parts not up to your standard by going back to the previous procedures. Here are a few common issues. The game crashes when you load into the game. It is often caused by the mesh type collision containing small faces. Either remake the mesh collision or replace it with primitive collisions. The ship does not show up. You may not have copied over the Ships of Moar Custom Collections pack file or your packed custom ship file to your mods folder. Double check or run the script through AMUMS once again. Parts of the ship are invisible. You may have used an invalid material flag set or configuration. Make sure that the material class and the shader file path are correct, and double-check the flag set with vanilla material files using Flag Finder. The ship's first-person cockpit view is bugged. This is a bug that stems from No Man's Sky's hashing functionality. Navigate to the custom ship scene file and change the name hash value of the cockpit post locator to 0. the ship has holes in the mesh. The model itself may have reversed faces. Check within Blender and try using the recalculate outside function for the faces. If your ship functions correctly, then the conversion is complete. Congratulations on finishing this No Man's Sky technical tutorial series. We hope you have understood the process thoroughly and can start contributing to implement custom ships. If you find this series useful, please subscribe to this channel. Until next time.